Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be telling you all about variables in Python. So let's get into it. What is a variable in Python? A variable is a container for a value. There are four types of variables in Python: a string, an integer, a float, or a boolean. Variables behave as the value they contain. Now, let me explain each one of them to you. The first one is a string. Strings are variables with any values. You need to use double inverted commas as shown here, or single inverted commas as shown here. An example of a string is, let's say, the variable name. Name is equal to Shriyans, and because this is a string, I've used double inverted commas at the beginning and at the end of my string value. Next, we have integers. Integers are variables with only numbers, no decimals. An example of integer is age. Here, age is equal to 14. Next, we have float. Now, float is pretty similar to integer. Floats are variables with only numbers, but decimals are allowed. So remember, integers, no decimals; floats, decimals. Got that? Good. And an example of a float is the price. The price is, let's say, 14.5. And the last variable type we have is a boolean. Booleans are variables that are only true or false. An example is adult is equal to true. Booleans cannot be anything else. Nothing else except for string requires double or single inverted commas. Integers, numbers, no decimals. Float, numbers with decimals. Boolean, only two options, true or false. That's it. Now, let me show you an example of each of them. First one being string. So let's say our variable is name, and I want to equal it to my name, which is Shriyans. Now, because it's a string value, I have to use double inverted commas. Now the red line below is gone, meaning no errors are found. Then we use the print function to print name. Now, as we've printed name here, the variable name is printed, hence Shriyans. However, if I was to use double inverted commas here, just because it's a string, something would be wrong. You would see the word name being printed. Now that is because you need to be specific with the print function. If I do this right here, then the print function will believe that I want to display the word name. But what I really want to do is display the variable name and the value within it. For that, you only need to write the name of your variable. The name of my variable being name, and that will equal to Shriyans. Hence, now when I print it, it will be Shriyans. Got that? Good. Now let's move on to integers. Integers are, an example of an integer is, let's say, age. Age is equal to, let's say, 51. Yeah. And now, when I go to print, I'm not going to use double inverted commas. Instead, I will just type in the name of my variable, which is age. And I will see here displayed 51. Next, let's move on to a float. Let's say the price is equal to 14.5. Decimals allowed because, again, we're using floats. Now let's print the price. And now you will see here displayed 14.5. Now the last one we have to look at is boolean. So since booleans are only true or false, we have to pick a value. For example, let's say is student and equal to true, because I am a student. Now you will see this line right here. That is showing that this is not a correct variable. That is because when you type in a variable, you need to make sure that no spaces are there. So if it was something like this, then the variable would be invalid because there are spaces present in its name. However, if there aren't any spaces present, by using an underscore, for example, then the variable is valid. Hence, no red lines. Now let's go on to print is student. And now it will say true. Now let's make this a bit cooler. So let's use double inverted commas to say that this person is a student. And then we use a comma here. If you want to include the variable and a bit of text in a single print function, then you have to use a comma to separate these two. So now I've written in my text. I surround it by double inverted commas, as shown here. I use a comma, give a space, and type in my variable, which is student. Now, when I go to print this, this is what you're going to see. This person is a student. True. Now, if I was to make this false, then it would show this person is a student is false because the variable is now false. Hope you got that. This was the variables in Python and how they work, and hope you enjoyed the video. Shriyans out.